There's a lot of you guys that are successful business owners, successful founders, yet the only thing you struggle with is your health. But what if we told you that what's creating a lot of success in your business and its principles that you've created, you can pull from, and then you could possibly get not only making six figures, but you can also get a six pack. That's one I learned by one of my mentors. And I showed him, I was like, my business is struggling right now. And he was like, show me your dashboard. And I was like, cool. And I showed him my dashboard. I was like, this is my revenue right now. This is what's my retail revenue right now. It was just all revenue. And he was like, that's all trash metrics. And I was like, what do you mean that's trash metrics? Those are lagging indicators, not leading. Those are gonna happen at the end. You can't change anything from it. What are the things that are happening in your business now that if you see it now, you know you're gonna do well? And I had to think about it, and I was like, okay, if a person stops working out 3 times a week, I know they're gonna cancel. And he's like, okay, so what's that? Can you pull up a dashboard? Yeah, there's a dashboard called frequency. And I could see the average frequency of each client. And he's like, cool, put that up front. What's your average right now? It's like 2.3. It's like, can you get it to 2.5? Can you get it to 2.7? Can you get it to 4? And ironically, anytime I get it to like 3s and 4s, I don't even have to do any marketing. What ends up happening is they get results, they get more friends coming in, everything's going on smoothly. So there was one leading indicator. I actually shifted that towards my health. People are so fixated on the wrong dashboard. There are metrics right now that you are potentially measuring that are not leading anywhere. And an example is if you want to track weight, have you considered maybe tracking how many workouts you've done? Have you considered how many steps have you done throughout the week? What is one thing that you've done successfully, whether it's in your business or your weight loss, that has direct translation to the other side of it?
Sometimes people don't want to hear this one, but it.
All right, Keith, before we dive into successes, because this is going to be a topic around success, give me your biggest failure this past week.
Trying to learn Adobe Pro Studios for the first time.
Yeah.
It was, I clocked in 2 total hours.
Exactly.
And I'm in the same place now than when I started this project.
Exactly.
Which is absolutely nowhere.
So guys, if you're listening to this, Keith is trying to help me offload some of the work that I do on editing. And yeah, it's a nightmare. But for me, dude, it took me, the first time I did it, so I shot like an episode. And then when I was editing the episode, I was like, where's the sound?
No.
And I didn't even have the mics turned on. This girl flew from Texas to do a video shoot with us. And then we did it again. And I was like, all right, now we know we need at least the sound. So we get the sound in.
It's 2 things you need.
2 things. So we're recording. And then what ends up happening, there's a few more mistakes that happened. But one, the batteries ran out. So we had to get like new batteries and chargers because you need to have it charging like the whole time. But the next time when we shot like a 2-hour one, blurry face. And it's happened. We've had a few blurry faces scenarios. So that's why we always got to look. My blurry guys? My blurry team? We're good.
Good. Well, actually, wow. Look at this. Now I'm getting good at this stuff. I'll take that right into the topic of today. Mm-hmm. So when I hear your story, even though that's incredibly frustrating, it was like you were new to it. You just like,
oh my gosh,
sometimes when you start something, it's like you know so little that you won't hit record or something like that. But when I came to you, I was like, let me help you with this. Like, I'm good at technology. Like I'm good. And like, that is one thing I'm confident in.
Yeah.
So I think just the idea of like, when I approached it, I was like, I got this. Yeah. And then just how bad it was and how much time went by. And I still just had absolutely 0% done. Mm-hmm. That's where I got really, really frustrated because I was just like, I am good at this. Why am I not good at this?
Right.
So the idea of kind of today is like, we wanted to talk about some things that you're already really good at. And then it can kind of seem, it's really frustrating when something that seems similar or seems almost easier than what you're currently good at, like just learning how to edit a video. Like I'm like the AI guy, and I'll tell you all these crazy things that people are shocked at. And like, I couldn't even work a basic program. So sometimes it gets really frustrating, but there's got to be a way where you can pull in what you're good at, pull the thing that you're bad at a little bit closer and kind of piggyback off of your strengths to help your weaknesses.
100%. Guys, we want to discuss this topic because there's a lot of you guys that are successful business owners, successful founders, yet the only thing you struggle with is your health. But what if we told you that what's creating a lot of success in your business and its principles that you've created, you can pull from, and then you could possibly get not only making six figures, but you can also get a six-pack and also become 6 feet tall. That's a 666, by the way.
You can't. I heard there's surgeries now where you can add like kneecaps length.
But yeah, I thought that was funny. But
So that's a good one. Now I'm thinking, thinking about how many boxes I check.
So let's talk about this because there was one major principle, and I had a conversation with one of my trainers, and I think I've been this trainer before too. That you think you're better than they are because they're not in good shape. But I'm like, listen, my guy. If they're training with you, they're doing something right because your rates are crazy for normal people, right? So it's worth to just be wise and listen to why they're successful in the area that they're in.
Yeah.
And because of just this conversation, I've now looked at a lot of my clients to be successful, that some of their things that they're doing in their business, in their relationships, are little gold nuggets that they can use to be able to change their life. So the first question that I want to ask is, what is one thing that you've done successfully, whether it's in your business or your weight loss, that has direct translation to the other side of it?
It's sometimes people don't want to hear this one, but it's getting up early. And that's just like the cornerstone, and there's obviously so much detail to it. But when I first started kind of like my weight loss journey, this was right after college, 2012. I was a college student. I was super unhealthy. I was staying up. I was partying, all that stuff. So getting up early was like absolutely insane. Like even my mom just recently told me, she was just like, you really get up at 5 a.m. and like work out. She was like, I couldn't even get you out of bed at like 8 a.m. for school growing up. So that was just like that one, my cornerstone where, and I get into it a little bit later on how that was my cornerstone for fitness. Then it became my cornerstone for building a business. And now I actually kind of have to pull back at my original cornerstone of using it for health and fitness.
Yeah. I like that because you sent me something about some like linchpin habit. I thought about it as a catalyst habit, the habit that makes other habits become better.
Yeah.
Right.
Because everyone's good at something.
Exactly. And that morning thing, because now you're a person that needs to wake up early, what are the chances that some of your friends are like, hey, you want to go out tonight?
Yeah.
Right? You're like, I can't. I wake up at 5 a.m. You know, it's like it makes it really easy to say no to things that won't necessarily serve you in the long run.
Yeah.
Right. So you've applied that same principle to now your business because now you have all this time.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really special. One thing that worked really well, it's a little weird because this is more stress related to me instead of fitness. One of the things that I do really, really well in my business is having conversations with you guys. And one in particular is like, hey, how am I doing as a boss? How am I doing as a friend? I think I've asked you that before, right? And I just do that randomly throughout our interactions. It used to be a little bit more formal, like I'd have a piece of paper and then I'd write it down. Now I'm just like asking it. And then the other side is like, this is what's creating anxiety for me as a business owner. So I say those things. So it's just like, hey, Keith, how am I doing as a friend? You're like, yeah, you're good, man. You're doing like an 8 or like, but remember we have like no 7s.
Yeah, I remember you said that. That was funny too, because I was probably going to.
Yeah, so
it's the cop out for the other side.
Yeah, so because if you have 7s, it's just too safe. There's no big change. 6 is a big difference between 8 and 6, right? So the other one is like, how am I doing as an owner, right, or as a leader? You can rephrase it any way, But it gives us an idea of where we are together, because some of my biggest stress points is people. And if I'm not having great interaction, great experiences with people, it takes a toll in my business. It takes a toll in my sleep, right? It takes a toll in everything. And what I've done was, and this was cool, because I talk about Jim a lot. He was like, there is a philosophy where you should leave your work and at work and leave your home at home, but you're robbing yourself from serious hacks. Why don't you use the same exact principles that served you really well in your business and into your home life?
That's right.
So one in particular was, I did the same thing with my wife, and we talked about it on a relationship podcast. It was like, how am I doing as a dad? And how am I doing as a husband? And this is the thing that's causing me anxiety. And we do this, we've done it like so many times now, we just do it all the time. It's like, how am I doing as a dad? And guys, I'm like, you're looking at me, and if you probably know me a little bit, you're like, he's scoring really high. No, I was scoring like threes. I would go home and I would have my phone and I'm answering emails, right? And I'm like the worst version of me because I'm already just poured into my people, right? And when I'm there, I'm so disconnected. So one of her things was like, if you just dropped your phone for 1 hour, you would score like a 9. And I was like, no way. So I just put my phone into another room. Easy room. In fact, I just leave it in the car. And then the other one was like, how am I doing as a dad? If you could just do one drop off. One drop off so I could just like relax for an hour. That would be great. And I'm like, cool. One drop off. I thought I had to do all of them.
100%. I was just gonna say too, if you don't have a wife or girlfriend, if you never actually like genuinely ask them how you can be better, it's usually not a lot that they give you.
Yeah.
Like for me, so my example there was I decided to basically run my marriage as if she was a nutrition client of mine.
Wow.
And every Sunday we have the exact step-by-step check-in that I would have with a nutrition, but it's how could we be better as parents, as husband and wife, as just two separate, because it's also kind of weird too. I feel like you have to game plan for yourselves as two separate individuals, and then you could say, how can you be better husband and wife, and then how could you be better parents?
Exactly.
But it was like the same steps that I would take if she was a weight loss client of mine. Every Sunday, we reviewed the plan. We looked at our goals. We set it. I have this little Apple note, and it's the same note that I use for my weight loss clients. And I remind her throughout the week of the things that we talked about on the note. And then every Sunday, we kind of check in with each other and see how well we're doing. Yeah. First couple of weeks, we were terrible. We didn't do anything that we said we were going to do. But then all of a sudden, week 3, week 4, now it's like a routine. Sounds really similar to nutrition clients, right? Yeah. And now we don't even actually, like I would actually sit there and we would type it up on the note. And now I'm like, okay, we're to the point where we don't need to do that. Now it's just these quick check-ins on Sundays, and how could we progress, or how could we fix the things that we either messed up or didn't do?
100%. Here's what's really interesting. Like I'm saying all these things, and just like, how does that even affect your health?
Oh,
I'm going to tell you what.
Happy wife, happy life, first of all.
Sure. Yeah, right. But also,
that's number one.
But the other side is, I think you have to be happy. You can't have, I'm not quite sure. I completely subscribe to that, guys. But they all think there's cliches across everything.
Yeah. No, it's just it's a concept that's there.
It's a concept, true. But you do want your wife happy, but I think they want you to be happy too, right? But one of my anxieties was, if the business doesn't work out and I have to sell the house. This was the time where we had 3 gyms. I had to sell one of the houses, right? And I was like, I got to sell this. Otherwise, we won't be in business. And I'm afraid you won't be with me anymore. And what she said was like, dude, we could live in like a little tiny apartment. I'd still be with you. So it gave me all of the reason to just be like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's keep playing this game.
And that's the stress. You probably saw the stress.
The stress left my body. My heart rate dropped down. And guess what? Now I'm sleeping better. If I'm sleeping better, I have more energy to think. It just starts to compound. For her, hers was, I'm anxious that you're going to get a heart attack. I just need you to work out. I just need you to take care of yourself. What do you need to do? Right? So now you're like, I was like, because of this principle that was successful for me in business, if I didn't drag that into my work, I don't think I'd be as stress-free as I am now. Some of you guys are listening to this right now. You have some really, like, if you had like 2 or 3 systems or nuggets or principles that's working in your business right now, if you somehow just like turned it into around your health, it's going to give you some crazy outcomes. So that was one of mine.
Yeah, no, that's I'll give you another one too, because I'm very like, I love creating these little systems in my calendar, and now I'm a big Apple guy, and everything's Apple integrated, and and don't judge me, I'm very bad at like doing chores and doing household things.
Yeah.
And that's one of my things that I know I'm bad at. My mother, she's amazing. She basically babied me my whole life. So like dishes and like taking out the garbage, like those little like basic things, like I actually struggle with it. So I had like every time my wife wants me to do something, I put her like as a part of my system. She has an iPhone. I gave her reminders. I put reminders on her home screen. We have a shared thing. Whenever she puts it in there, I'm like, give me a due date. Like act like you're my boss. Put a due date on there. Put it on my calendar. I wake up. My morning routine is to pull up my calendar and see any of these like preset reminders that I set myself for tasks that day. And when I see the yellow one pop up, that's a family thing. She wants me to do this today. I put it into my workday as if it's like, I don't want to sound this like you have to listen to your wife like a boss, but like I was just like, she's just like a person that I'm working with, and this is a task. I also have to do this for my business over here, but this is also a part of my home business. And I just have her kind of integrate into the system that I already set for myself, and then it becomes super easy to kind of do those things that I would normally put off if it was like somewhere else, if it was on like, I don't know, on the fridge or whatever, or just like her constantly reminding me with no system.
Yeah.
So now she's a part of my business day.
Isn't that interesting?
And it makes it just so much easier. And it's like, I want to do those things for her, but if I'm in the habit of doing X, Y, Z already, like, and the dishes have to be done, but I have a deadline, like, of course I'm going to not do the dishes and hit the deadline.
Right.
But if I have a deadline on the dishes,
yeah,
then it's just like fits into my normal routine, and there's no like anxiety anymore because it's just what I already do.
So good. That reminds me of something with a client that I have, and he'll know who he is, but I won't say the name out. But one of the issues he had was like, I just don't have any time. I have so many of these meetings with all of my leaders and my employees. And I was like, cool, man, let's take a look at your calendar. And what I saw in his calendar was every single person that he had to meet with. And then I asked him, in that list, who do you think is like the most valuable person? I want you to just think of it. You don't have to point it at me. Just think about it. The most valuable person on that list. And he's like, oh yeah. Like he's the guy that shows up on time. If like things are on fire, he's there to show up, right? He's probably gonna come in when he's sick. Like he's that guy. He's like, oh, I do have that guy. And then now like I was telling him, there's like, I was like, hey, I'm going to tell you that person that you're thinking about is not the person that's actually on that calendar. He's not even on that calendar. That person is you. And he had this epiphany. He was like, where are you on this calendar? And he was just like, he was so blown away because that person, he would always show up sick. Like he would show up even when he was sick. He would work 100 hours a week to make things show up. He would like put out all of the fires, no problem. But what he neglected to do was he didn't even put himself on the calendar. So I was like, hey, this is what we need to do for next week. I want you to put your MVP on that calendar, your most valuable player in that calendar. And then he was like, done. And what ended up happening was he labeled it like, this is like the most important session. I move everything around for this session because this person is not only making money for my own household, it's making money for 500 people here, another 500 people here. Yeah. And then he just forgot it. And then now it's like, he's on there. And every one of his clients, every one of his leaders knows that session can't be moved. And that's like that. Those are some of the things that founders are missing that they can't pull through.
Yeah, for sure. And that's exactly what I said. What I was going to mention earlier is my getting up early, where when I was on my weight loss journey and I wasn't really, I didn't have my own business. This was when I was a teacher, so it was kind of just like my set hours. I would wake up super early and I'd do fasted cardio every morning, and like that was like my thing. Like I knew that was hard to do, but I could get up early and I could do it. Now, years later, like I don't really need to keep getting up and trying to burn calories. I'm not really like trying to lose that much weight that quickly, but I can get up early. So then it became, when I left teaching and started my own business, it was like, okay, now I'm going to get up and now I'm going to get as much work done as possible before like the day starts. So that's where that routine came in of like literally open my eyes, open up the laptop, coffee would be like pre-made on a timer, and I would just go and go. And then realize that like then my day would kind of spiral out of control because I would just be doing so much. And like it feels good because you're on this high of like accomplishing things. Yeah. And then you realize like you didn't make any time for yourself that day.
Yeah.
And now I kind of have to go backwards, where now I have to actually like, I got to put myself first, because I know I'm going to get the other things done at some point throughout the day. But that willpower of working out and doing something for myself is going to go down as the day goes on. Yeah. So I have to put that one first. Then the other things can come. And a lot of times it's kind of just like mixing and matching and seeing what works for you. Like if you know you'll work out at the end of the day, then fine. Wake up, your morning routine is more about work. If you know the longer you put that workout off, the less chance you have of it, get the workout done first. And this is why it's a little bit different for everybody, but you could see how just like using that early block, some people have to now, they have to train themselves to wake up early. That's a whole nother story. But I already had that block set. I could wake up 2 hours before anyone in the family wakes up.
Yeah.
Now, what's the most important thing that I could get done in that amount of time that I know will have less of a chance of being done later in the day? And then you could flip-flop back and forth.
So good. Yeah, I feel like if you're a founder and you really thrive creative-wise in the morning, I would probably think getting a small workout in, doesn't have to be extremely intense, is probably going to give you the biggest ROI you've never.
And then your brain's on fire after that.
Yeah, they don't realize it because they think the work is like more important, but those two things combined can really do some amazing things. I want to share something here because I gave you guys like 3 of them. One, like just figuring out how to create a system where you have less stress at work. It can apply to your life. The other one was scheduling yourself first, because you schedule every single client and to-do list and to-do tasks for your business except yourself. The last one I learned by one of my mentors. And I showed him, I was like, my business is struggling right now. I'm messing up. And he was like, show me your dashboard. And I was like, cool. And I showed him my dashboard. I was like, this is my revenue right now. This is what's my retail revenue right now. It was just all revenue. And he was like, that's all trash metrics. And I was like, what do you mean that's trash metrics? Those are lagging indicators, not leading. Like those are going to happen at the end. You can't change anything from it. What are the things that are happening in your business now that if you see it now, you're going to do well? And I had to think about it. And I was like, okay, well, if a person stops working out 3 times a week, I know they're gonna cancel. And he's like, okay, so what's that? Can you pull up a dashboard? Yeah, there's a dashboard called frequency. And I could see the average frequency of each client. And he's like, cool, put that up front. What's your average right now? It's like 2.3. It's like, can you get it to 2.5? Can you get it to 2.7? Can you get it to 4? And ironically, anytime I get it to like 3s and 4s, I don't even have to do any marketing. What ends up happening is they get results, they get more friends coming in, everything's going on smoothly.
So true.
So there was one leading indicator. And then now I actually shifted that towards my health. Okay? People are so fixated on the wrong dashboard. They're looking at their weight.
I was just going to say, I said, that's exactly, and this is the whole topic is just when you see something that you're good at, then you could just see it's the same exact thing, but
Yeah.
it's just the mindset isn't there. That's the person going, well, look at what I weigh. I'm not losing any weight. And then it's like, okay, well, what are the things that you're doing on a daily basis? What does your day look like? And then like as you start to talk about your day, it's like, okay, that's why the scale's not moving. Same thing with revenue. Like you're looking at that final number, staring at that number is not going to do anything unless you go backwards and do exactly what you just said.
Exactly. The other one I forgot. The other one was cash at hand. How much cash do you have, like at all times? And I was like, oh, because if you have good cash at hand, even at low revenue days, it means you're budgeting right. But if it's gone, like you can have the most revenue as possible, but you have zero cash. That's like, what are you even doing? So there are metrics right now that you are potentially measuring that are not leading anywhere. And an example, and you can give a couple examples, is if you want to track weight, have you considered maybe tracking how many workouts you've done throughout the week? Have you considered how many steps have you done throughout the week? Have you considered how much sleep have you accumulated over the past week? And then just pick one metric and really just like expose it. How much protein are you consuming if you're a little bit more macro based? What are some other metrics you think a founder should be looking at in terms of their health that can have that massive revenue impact, weight loss impact, body fat loss impact for you?
I think when you said, let me look at your dashboard, like that gave me the idea of pulling up, if they use it, pulling up somebody's calendar.
Yeah,
like a Monday to Sunday. Like that's, to me, the first example you gave, like that's the biggest dashboard, or that's the most important dashboard possible. Yeah. Because even in business, and this is why it's just like, it's the person that gave you that advice. Are they in good shape?
They are now. Yeah.
They are now.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
but they did struggle with it.
They did struggle.
So how funny is that? Like that person was just like immediately like, look what you're doing wrong, and like let's do this. And again, that's the same exact approach that you have to take for the health and fitness stuff, for the things that you're not so good at. And that's where I was saying before, where like all these things that I got good at for changing my body, I just used the same exact thing and reverse engineered it. So it's like, how did I get good at this? Well, I don't know. I'm obsessed. I listen to podcasts and YouTube videos all day long. I read books. I don't know how to run a business. We'll start listening to podcasts, start listening to YouTube, start reading books all day long. Same exact thing. Because there comes a time where like, not that you'll never know everything about anything, but there's kind of like a maintenance point where like, I know enough about this where I can kind of like move my attention onto learning something different, but keep it in the same structure so it doesn't feel so like crazy and like you're wasting time.
Exactly.
So the calendar, just like looking at what you do Monday to Sunday, seeing if you're making time for yourself.
How many workout times, how many podcasts did I listen to about health?
Yeah.
And
sometimes it's even easier than that. Like you look at someone's calendar, meeting, like deep work, whatever their calendar is. And it's like, where's your workouts?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, if I get my work done, then I go to, the 4:30 class. And it's like, so you don't even have them on the calendar.
Right.
Like it could be right there. And then it could just like, that could be a massive shift. Right. Like imagine if someone came to you like, I don't know anything about business. And then you looked at their calendar and you're like, well, when are you working on your business? And it's like, oh, I'm not working on my business. Yeah. Let's put that on the calendar first and then see what's going on. So I think the time audit or just looking at the calendar first is like the number one thing you could do, and then figure out what's missing or what can be deleted, which is probably even more important. What could be deleted.
So here's what's really cool about dashboards. It doesn't necessarily have to go up for the KPI doesn't have to be like an uptrend. A really good KPI, I'm telling you guys this hack right now, is to track your watch time hours in social media and entertainment. If you can take that number and reduce it by half, chances are you're probably going to get pretty healthy. because a lot of times in those entertainment ads, there's like food ads, there's like more spending, and they just pull you in, and then the habit that's stacked with you watching more Netflix doesn't necessarily involve with like grilled chicken and a salad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So here's a really fun KPI. Just put that KPI on the list and see if you can reduce that and see if there's a correlation with you losing weight. It is scary, bro.
I'm sure
The moment I've started shifting this KPI for my clients, it's like it's creating havoc in their life at first because they don't know what to do with their life.
There's too much time.
There's too much time. And they're now faced with the real excuse that they don't even want to come in and just experience the discomfort.
I mean, it's phenomenal too. And like, I don't know, maybe I'm worse than others, but like I delete Instagram off of my phone every single day, and then I reinstall it for like 10 or 15, 20 minutes now, and then I have to delete it again. Yeah. Because it's like, it's just this weird habit that if there's any sort of downtime, like, I'll just click on it. So I literally will, like, I have to delete it off of the phone. Sounds like a drug addict, but like, it's just one of these weird things that I can clearly feel like my day is less chaos and I have more time if it's not on my phone for the day.
It's genius. Yeah.
And then at night, sure, set a timer. Like last night, I watched a 14-minute video that the Golden State Warriors posted of Steph Curry's 50 greatest shots. I was in like minute 9, and I was like, what am I doing? Like I told myself I was going to get off this like 5 minutes ago. So like, even if it sounds insane, is like, I know there's a bunch of apps that do it too, where it kind of like will time you out. But even just my technique, which is like clunkier technique, but it's like I re-download it, I go on it, I log in, I set a timer, and I mess around until that timer goes off, and then I have to just like delete it again.
Yeah.
And it's silly, but I mean it works because if I don't do it like that, I'll just put it on the next screen. My brain just swipes over and finds it.
I do the same thing with pocket games. Yeah. Those freaking arcade pocket games will get you, man.
Yeah.
So I'll download it for the weekend if I'm like, I just want to have some fun. If you're intentionally trying to have fun.
Yeah.
Like I think I downloaded like Legends or something with I don't know, but you're like, it's like an RPG. You like level up. I go all in. Okay. I think there is, you can have joy. You don't have to like, I'm going to live a life of just pure education. That's not really that fun. The problem is, it's like, are you using it to distract, or are you using it to just like have a blast? So for Keith and I actually delete mine too.
You do. Yeah.
I delete mine. It just creates so much friction. I don't want to go in and wait 15 seconds for it to download, which sounds crazy, right? And then I have to click on it, then I have to log in with my ID, and then you're just like, forget it, I'm good, right? So
I did that last night with I have Hulu with ads. Yeah. I was kind of tired, but we were just gonna like watch something, and like an ad came on. I was like, forget it. I shut off the TV. I was like, dude, I saw the little timer at the top. It said like 1:20, and I was like, forget it. So creating friction. Like manufacturing friction for yourself on your habits that you're trying to get rid of is actually a great idea.
Dude, it's going to sound crazy. I was watching Amazon Prime the other day, and I was watching a show, and then they had a 2-minute ad. And then I was like, my God. First I was mad, but then I was like, thank you. And I turn it off. So here's one of the greatest hacks that you can do to reduce your time is to not go like, I'm going to get canceled by Amazon Prime. Yeah. Is to buy the Pro, so you don't get the commercials. To go to YouTube special ones, and then like
Chris said that the other day because I snapped too because I got basically tricked into buying the ESPN like package or whatever, and it was like the more expensive one. I just assumed there was no commercials, but there's like there's still one. So I started like, it's ridiculous. I just started paying, and my wife looked at me, and my son's Cameron, and she was like, Cam needs this. Like when we grew up, we had commercials where it wasn't instant gratification of like the next YouTube video playing over and over again. So she was like, this is good for him. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm sitting here complaining. It was a minute and 20 commercial. And I couldn't, I was like mad at it. Yeah. But again, it's like, why do I need such instant gratification either?
Yeah. And you do things, it just stops you. So.
And it stops you where you notice, like, I don't really want to watch this that bad. Yeah. I'm just watching it because it's very convenient.
Okay, really quick. 'Cause
That's a great one.
I'm going to give you guys the play-by-play really quick on how to manage this, because if you start tracking this KPI, there are going to be some things you're going to experience. And I do this all the time. The moment you start getting your time back, you're not going to be all of a sudden just fit. There is a phase here where you're just angry at the world.
Yeah.
Okay? And one, you're just angry at yourself. Like, you're like, I have all this time. What do I do? Like, I'm telling you, I've unlocked like 10 to 15 hours in the week the moment I put this KPI into like my frame, right? And by the way, KPI is key performance indicators. It's just something that is, I feel like I need to say. But so you'll get to this phase where you're just angry at yourself. In fact, you're judgmental around others too. Okay, don't just chill, bro. You were that one guy.
Oh yeah, I deleted Instagram for like a day, and I see my wife's on it. I'm like, spending all night on Instagram. I see. And I'm like, you just deleted it yesterday. Relax.
Yeah. So once you get to this phase, just be okay in the boredom, and learn to relax. Here's what happens. I noticed my shoulders started to shrug more. Like I needed to do something. So physically, I felt like I needed to do something. And then once I started understanding kind of what my body was like, I was like, I need to do something with this energy. Then I started to play soccer. Then I started to play other sports. I play more soccer than I ever played in my entire life.
That's awesome.
Right? Which is unreal. So like you start, and then just start feeding it things that probably more fitness based.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if you, and sometimes like the topic is using something you're good at and kind of piggybacking and getting better. But like sometimes people look at things as something that they're bad at, or like if you have that anxiety, like, or you have like ADHD where you just like, you can't sit there and you feel like you have to do something. Like if that thing, Instagram, Netflix, is not there anymore, like, and you feel like that, it's like, all right, why don't you go for a walk?
Go for a walk.
Why don't you go for a run with all that nervous energy that you have and see if it goes away?
Yeah.
But a lot of the times it's like you fix that problem by scrolling or by going on, whatever it is. Now when that's removed, what positive can you do with that energy?
What's really interesting is now the real battle is not the weight loss. The real battle is, how do I manage this anxiety? Mm-hmm. And anxiety was the only thing that you were coping for. And for me, it needed to be hard fitness. It needed to be difficult fitness that required me to feel like I'm sweating my face off. My heart rate needed to go up. And once you understood that was the outlet, the dopamine, or like the feel good thing that you're always looking for, actually is just longer.
Yeah. Right?
I'll do some of the hardest workouts, and you've done probably the hardest jiu-jitsu workouts, and you're just like, I'm good for a week, dude. Yeah. Right? And
you're right too. It's more like it's like longer lasting. Like if you go on Instagram, you'll get your dopamine in, and there's these like tiny little hits that don't really do anything for you. But once you do that hard thing, that high lasts for a lot longer than like watching a couple funny things on your phone. Yeah.
I really just wanted to paint this out, because I think if you do try this and you didn't have a coach, one of the biggest things you think is you're doing this wrong. You will feel anxious the moment you reduce this. You would think it's like, oh, you would feel less anxious when you have, but for me, it didn't. It wasn't like that. I was more anxious knowing that I had 7 extra hours of my time. And then now, once you have that, you're going the right path. Learn a way where you can release that energy, whether it's through creativity, whether it's through sports, jiu-jitsu, CrossFit, dancing. Shoot, your wife would probably love if you took her dancing once in a while. You're like, babe, I gotta dance or something. You want to go? There's this
I just
dance
got all
place.
This time back. I deleted Instagram. I just feel like dancing.
She'd be blown away. You know what I mean? If I took my wife dancing, she'd be like, what is happening right now? Right?
My wife can't dance, so I'm so good. I don't have to even try that one.
Oh, I can't dance. My wife can dance. I can dabble, but yes. Anyways, guys, we had to do this in timer because we could speak through this the whole time.
Yeah.
But we wanted to give you a little bit of some practical nuggets of some of those things. You know what? Do us a favor. If you have one one thing that you've done in business that's worked really well in your health, comment below and share that, because there's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And I want to learn them. Keith wants to learn them.
And you might not even, like, sometimes it's when you're really hard on yourself and you're always pushing forward, like sometimes it's hard to sit there and be like, I am good at this. It's hard to even like say that sometimes, but like if you really sit down and analyze, just find the things that are working, then find the things that are not working, and then kind of just see how similar those two things are, and see if you can apply the same systems that make you good at what you do. Integrate the things that you're bad at and see how much parallels you can find between the two of them.
I love it. Yeah. I want to end with this final message, because I think I've been in this scenario before. You've been in this scenario before, is to know that, one, you're not a loser.
Yeah.
In fact, you're more successful than you realize. And the way you realize that is take things that you are successful at right now and apply it to what you're doing. And when you do that, combine both of them, make them work the way it's supposed to work, and you're going to start crushing it. Here's the thing, guys. If you need help with this, I told you guys a story about my mentor showing me the KPIs and dashboards, and he was exposing some massive areas where it was huge opportunity for me to grow. And you need a mentor like that around your health. Keith and I are working with clients now, and we expose those things. And we'll leave a link below if you guys want to meet with us and train with us personally. We would love to work with you guys. And if you guys like this episode, you'll probably like this episode here as well. And as always,